was in my ankle holster that night. And they ain't asked, and I don't tell. So he checked everything, wasting time. Waiting and waiting. So he finally come back. Then another car comes. I saw one coming flying up the other way, so he loops around and he gets in the scene. What up, folks? KUT here, back again with another video. This is going to be a little story video. I just want to tell you about the couple times I had run-ins with the police while living out here in Arizona. From Jersey, but been here for a little while now. So I'm going to tell you about these few encounters with the law. So the couple times I ran to the cops out here in Arizona, wasn't too bad, but just check it out. So the first time, one is just a state trooper. He came, just supported me from behind, like with his car. I got a flat on the freeway. He came and stayed, which is cool. And he ain't checked license and none of that stuff, because I think sometimes they like to, try to see who you are and all that. But he ain't do none of that. He just held back. I was heading to work and I fixed a tire. And then after that, we rolled on out. Everything was cool. So the one time that was kind of crazy, I had my art studio on Broadway in Tempe. It's all Phoenix, but if you know Tempe, some of y'all know Tempe. It's like ASU College around there, all that stuff. So I had my art studio, and I would go in there like noon, and I would stay in there till like 2, 3 in the morning. So this one night I stayed really late because I was working on the art show, stolen art show that I had coming up. So I was trying to get this art done, so I was working on the show, left out of there, and I made a right turn on Royal Road, and I went into the far left lane because that's the lane I needed to get on the freeway. So this cop pulled me over, SUV, the Tempe police. He pulls me over, so he said, "You know why I pulled you over?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't." And he said, "Well, when you made that turn, you went all the way over to the left lane, and you're really not allowed to do that." And then he asked, he said, "Let me check your driver's license, registration, all that stuff." So I gave it to him. He goes back to the car and takes forever. This dude took, I don't know how long. And so I'm just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. So he finally come back. Then another car comes. I saw one coming flying up the other way, so he loops around and he gets in the scene. So I'm like, oh, now we got all these guys here. So they both came back. It was one on each side, one on the passenger side and one on the driver's side window. Just shining their light in there, looking and looking. He said, "So you, so where are you coming from?" Like, I got an art studio down there. I'm coming from the art studio. I'm heading home. I live in Chandler, like my license say, and then, whatever. He said, "You're not a student?" I'm like, "No, I'm not a student. I've been out of school for a long time." So he's just looking around, kind of like shining a light. He said, so when before that, when he asked for the driver's license registration, when I opened it up, shine the light, they had a light right in the glove box looking. So I handed him, gave him the stuff he needed. But one thing that I think, this guy, they seem like they wanted something. I ain't like that one, the one cop that was doing all the talk. I ain't like his vibe, man. But the one thing I think that slowed them down was they kept shining it on my phone. My phone's mounted on the dash. And there was a light on. It was a red light that kept flashing. And I don't know if it was recording or what. Which, I think it kind of scared him away a little bit. So I was just like, good. But it was just, it took way long. I probably was there for like 40 minutes with them, just wasting time. Because he was just trying to ask all these stupid questions. And he would go back to the car and then come back. And I got my hand on the wheel, like, you got to ask, "Hey, can I get my light?" Asking instructions. But the whole thing about that night, out here in Arizona, you can carry, right? It's open carry. You ain't got to have concealed permit no more. As long as you ain't no felony, you can buy a gun anytime, do your thing. You can have it on the front seat with you. I had mine on my ankle because at that studio, it's kind of sketchy around there. So I always, keep it on me or whatever. Sometimes it's right in my pocket. I'll have the gun like right in my pocket, but it was in my ankle holster that night. And they ain't asked, and I don't tell. So he checked everything, wasting time, and went on and let me go. He just said, "Yeah, you just can't make that turn because I think he thought he was gonna get a DUI because there's like bars around there. And it's like the college town or whatever." But anyway, he let me go. He had to because there was nothing. There wasn't nothing in there. He was just trying to waste time and bring extra cops and get you all nervous. I was a little bit nervous because I'm like, you just never know, man. You just never know out here. But everything went cool with that one, and that was that. That was like probably the craziest one, wasting time, really. Asking all these questions, everything checked out, but they wasting time. So that was one encounter. And the second one was this female officer pulled me over. I was in Chandler. I was home. I was heading to Tucson. So I did my art show. I had it filmed, turned into a documentary, stolen art show documentary, which is on Amazon if you want to check it out. Anyway, I was heading to, this was early, and I had the film done, and I was taking it down to Tucson because a homie down there had access to this movie theater a little small theater called The Loft. He was like, hey, I can get us in the theater, because he did my audio. He said, I can get us in the theater and we can watch it on the screen, and you could check the audio that I did. I was like, all right, cool. So I was heading down there that morning, get pulled over. So this female cop gets out. I think she was a rookie too. She seemed really young. She came up, you know why I pulled you over? They always come with that. I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, your sticker is expired. I'm like, oh, I'm waiting on that to come right now. She said, okay. Could I have your driver's license and your still want the registration card and the and your insurance? So I hand her some stuff, and she goes back and she come back, well, your insurance is expired. I had nothing that day. She's like, your insurance is expired. I know this registration. You said you're waiting on that. Is there any way you can call? I was like, she's like, do you have the card? I was like, I don't have the card. But she can look it up and check. So everything was cool there. But she did ask, do you have a firearm in the car? She did ask that. I don't know if they can ask that or not. But I said, yeah, it's right here in my bag. 'Cause I have my North Face backpack right on the passenger seat. I'm like going down Tucson. So I ain't gonna go down there without nothing. So I'm like, yeah, it's in my bag right here. And she's like, okay. So when she went and checked, she checked everything was cool. She came back and never asked about the gun, never did nothing. Usually when they ask, they want to see it to make sure it ain't stolen or nothing. But I guess she didn't feel like I was no threat or nothing like that, which is cool. You know, that's right. She did the right thing, because she ain't had to check it. Cause I got to take it out, and then that's a whole new issue. But she was cool. And I saw she had the camera on, a little recording thing, so everything was straight. And she went on and rolled out and let me go. So those are like the two encounters I had, other than just pulled over just for something silly. Like one time on the freeway, again. There's a point it's called the Gore Point. I found out is when you're going to get off the exit. It's these white lines. It's like a triangle. One time I cut across those, and a state trooper pulled me over. And he said the same thing. You know why I pulled you over? And I'm like, I don't. He said, well, you went across the Gore Point, which you're not allowed to do, because there's this cop. He got killed some years ago out here by a driver driving in that. He was in there doing something, and somebody ran him over. And he told me about that, and he was cool. He said, hey, it's just a warning. He said, I ain't gonna write nothing on it. Just can't do that no more. I'm like, okay, cool, got it. Because I didn't even know. I never heard of that. So, but you can't go across the Gore Point. And that was the only other encounter. Other than that, pretty much, been knock on wood. Everything's been cool. I just try to stay calm, because you don't want to get it going, man. You do not want to be in their custody and have to deal with anything else. But so those are my encounters. Had the gun in both. Had the gun on me. But yeah, I carry. So, and you can carry out here. So Arizona, it's a gun-friendly state. So that was that. She did ask. I was just wondering. She asked, but she didn't. She didn't want to see it. She didn't want to see it. Those other two, they didn't ask. That was the night where I was like, oh man, these dudes are trying to be stupid. But anyway, those are my encounters with the cops. If you've had encounters with the police, how did it go? Let me know. Drop a comment down below. I want to hear. Tell me your story. What's your story? But yeah, man. Just be careful out there when you're dealing with them. Like I say, out here we can carry guns, and they know everybody got them. But those guys that night, it was a bad vibe. I just think if they didn't think my phone was recording, it could have been a little more. But I was just cool. I knew I had that on my ankle. I ain't volunteered to tell them. I just let things go and the way it went. And it pretty much, you see, it was nothing there. It was no threat. And they're like, all right, go and get out of here. But they shining lights everywhere and being stupid. Then another car come. Like, why the other car had to come? Like, it's two of them already and one of me. Then another car comes up. Like, oh, goodness, come on. Whatever. But all right, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. It's KUT. Catch you on another video. All right, peace.